Hello, everybody. Welcome to my new series, um, Let's Talk Positivity with Miss Positivity. That's who I am. That's what I do. I try to spread the positivity. This is my new live stream series where I speak to different women in the community who are working to make and bring positive impact in the community. Love to connect and focus with people who does that. And for me, I always like to say how I know my guests, how we're connected. And so I met her miss my guest because I'm gonna let her introduce herself. I met my guest through my parents. My dad just kept on. He was like, "You have to meet our first lady. You have to meet our first lady," and he's just always talking so many good things about you. And I guess it was because of the connection of what I do in the community, and I guess what
Mhm.
he's seeing that you do. And he was like, "You all, I really need to get you connected." So I just recently met her. She's a beautiful soul. I can just tell that from our first conversation. And I'm just so grateful. Like, even from the conversation, she was like, I would love to be your guest. And it's like, oh
Mhm.
gosh, here we go. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce to everyone Macea Whisettse. And would you please introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you?
Well, it's nice to be here, Miss Positivity, Tanya. And you said I have a beautiful soul. You also have a beautiful soul. And that's why I just was so thrilled to be here with you. I love connecting with like minded people,
Absolutely.
which kind of leads into my introduction. So I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a trauma informed coach. You mentioned my husband is pastor of a church, so I am a first lady recently. But I think most of all, I am a thought partner. I like to partner with people that I meet, whether I know them well or not, to discover, rediscover, be comfortable in their own skin, find peace, find Jesus if they're looking for Jesus. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, just a thought partner. I just like helping
Yeah.
in any
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. And for those who typically know Tanya, yep, I've changed rooms. Okay, listen, I have a new dog. He's a little puppy. Everybody who knows me know Max. Okay, Max is getting to a point he bark at everything. So I had to I got to go in another room because I did not want any interruptions of me having this conversation with my guest today because I know this is going to be great. So thank you so much for introducing yourself to us, and want to go ahead and get into it. So we got down here on a ticker that you are actually. I won't put your email yet. This is my
Okay.
special guest. I mean, we're gonna give you her email, okay? But let's just go ahead and get to that a little bit later. So,
Okay.
as you can see, this is my special guest, and she's with Wake Your Voice. So, I want you to tell us a little bit about, what is Wake Your Voice with
Mm.
Coach Macea Wissett, and how did you get started, and what does it mean to you?
Wake Your Voice began in 2019 because I was working in a role that was not emotionally safe for me.
Wow.
And uh, in that process, I had discovered that I lost my voice. And so the company became Voice LLC. That's the parent company. Wake Your Voice is the coaching arm of Voice LLC.
Okay.
And so I also, having understood, I always knew I had an assignment, Tanya. Okay,
Okay.
so I always
Okay.
knew I had an assignment since I
Yes.
was a little girl. I've always been everyone else's cheerleader. I've always tried to be inspirational. But
Mhm.
there came a point where I was so empty, I didn't know how to do those things for myself.
Wow.
And in 2019, it hit me hard. And I became a coach in 2018. So, like,
Okay.
the purpose was already like coming along. And again, I didn't put a name to it until 2018 because someone said to me, I didn't say to myself, girl, you need to be a coach. No, someone who knew me said, have you ever thought about it?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, really? Okay. And
Yeah.
so it was a year after I became a coach, certified
Hmm.
coach. that I was on my job in a board meeting, once again feeling empty, feeling as if I had no control over my life. I
Mm.
texted my husband during that board meeting where I was the only one that looked like
Come
myself,
on, talk
like
about it.
me.
Speak on it. Speak
hmm
on it.
All right. And yes. So with that, I texted my husband and I said, honey, I said, I can't do it anymore. My husband says, I was in prayer this morning and I heard the Holy Spirit say, tell her to come home.
Woo! Come on,
I
come
was like,
on.
what?
I
And
say
we had
what?
just purchased a house, a new house. We had just moved into a neighborhood with higher taxes. And
Mm. Come on.
I mean, my car was acting up. I mean, so life wasn't perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but we had that connection with the Holy Spirit that
Yeah.
we knew everything was going to be all right. And I'll tell you, that was my last day in the office.
Woo.
That day was
Mm.
my last day working in the office. I
Yeah.
literally wrote my exit letter. What do we call that now? We don't call it exit letter. What do we call it? Resignation letter
Resignation. Mm-hmm.
on my phone. I
Mm-hmm.
had it sent to the printer at the job because we were in a different work site.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
went to the office, took it off the printer, laid it on the executive director's desk,
Uh-huh.
and that was it for me.
Bye. You didn't even give a 2 week notice. You like, I'm peace. I'm out.
No,
Yeah,
no,
because you're
because I
done.
didn't have 2 weeks. I didn't have 2 weeks left in me.
Right.
That's how depleted and burned out I was. That is how psychologically unsafe I
Woo.
was.
I heard so much in everything you just said. Just you were
Mm,
not emotionally safe.
nope.
That's powerful.
Mm,
Help like unpack that for me. Like when you
okay.
say you were not
Mm,
emotionally safe,
hmm
what does that mean? Because I'm assuming this is corporate America. We already know what corporate America is about. If you work in corporate
Yeah,
America, even if you don't, listen, y'all done heard about it. It's corporate
yeah.
politics. Most of the time, I didn't say all of the time, most of the time,
The most,
there
right?
are people that don't look like us, and we're
hmm
in these environments, and we're expected to not complain. If we talk
Mm,
about something or if we try to address something, then we're being
mm,
aggressive. They can do it all day, but we
mhm,
become aggressive, right? Like, so
mhm,
just help me understand what that means about the emotion. Like, you were not safe
mhm.
emotionally. What does that mean?
Well, without getting into too many specific details about the actual place, because I did have to sign a non-disclosure
Sure, sure. I get
upon
it.
leaving.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
but
Wow.
because of the lack of safety
The
that I
toxicity.
found myself in,
That's what it was. Mm-hmm.
exact word
Mm-hmm.
toxicity. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, emotionally unsafe, I believe there's a hierarchy of needs. Now, there's a researcher, Maslow, years ago, he came up with this hierarchy of needs,
Yep.
and it's 5 levels. On the base level, we have physiological needs. That's food, water, shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then the next level, we have like our job, our what we're doing for the community, that
Sure.
then feeds into our emotional well-being,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that then feeds into our creativity, then that feeds into our self-actualization, what he
Mm-hmm.
calls self-actualization, where you feel like you're in control of your life, where
Yeah.
you are mentally stable enough to make choices that benefit you.
Whew.
What I realized is that my job paid well. It was a job I had prayed for. I feel like I need to say this. It was
Okay.
a job I had prayed for. It
Mm-hmm.
was it was not corporate America. It's actually nonprofit
Talk. Wait
because
a
I was
minute. Stop.
mission. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. All right.
because I was
Woo.
mission focused. Right at this point
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
career, I'd been working like 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated from college in '94. I thought that I actually prayed this job into existence.
Wow. Wow.
Now, I could say be careful what you pray for, but I won't. What I'll say
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
just when you get what you pray for, understand that that is not the end of the story, that God wants to do something in you in the
In,
story,
in
right?
this story.
So, in the story, so part of my story was going to work and I had flexible hours. I could work from home. This is before the pandemic. I could work from
Mhm.
home. I could be there for my son who was in high school and I
Yeah.
made the money I wanted. And,
Sure.
ooh. Yes, I had the title I desired,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it was going to come with the
Mhm.
unsafe, the toxicity.
Ooh.
Because
Ooh.
if he had shown me that, I wouldn't have gone. But if
Mm.
God allows us to go into these spaces, it's because He wants to do something in and through us, right? Okay, I'm sorry. I hope I'm moving.
Yes.
So,
No, no, ma'am. Keep going because
okay,
you helping somebody. Let us hear from
okay.
y'all in the chat. I know y'all can chat. Let her know
Hey,
that
y'all.
you understand. Uh huh. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I had my physiological needs met. I was
Mm.
safe that way,
Yeah.
right? I had a job. I was safe that way. Um, but I didn't have self-esteem. I had lost myself.
Ooh.
That was the first time I had lost myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me back up. I I often had learned how to put myself back together again
Mm.
as a woman of color in the
Mm.
workforce, as
Mm.
someone who's been told, do you think you come off a little strong? You know,
Ooh.
do you think that you might be a little bit too much? Uh,
Mm.
as
Mm.
being that person, right? So I learned
Yeah.
how to put myself back together again, like Humpty Dumpty.
Come on now. Not Humpty Dumpty, but we have to
Humpty
do it.
Dumpty. But
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
came to this point where I literally felt like Tanya, I could not put myself back together again. That what used to work for me wasn't working anymore.
Mm-mm.
That's when I knew. Yeah, you got the job you prayed for, you got the salary you prayed for, you got the title, you got the flexibility, but you didn't get the peace
Woo. Woo.
that
Woo.
you need.
Woo. Come
Okay.
on. Because peace is
Okay.
priceless. Nobody can pay you for your
Priceless.
peace of
Oh,
mind.
you better say
Priceless.
that.
It's priceless.
Girl, peace is
Absolutely.
priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. It's not enough
mm,
money in the world to give me my peace.
mm,
It's just not.
mm.
Mm-mm.
And maybe that was the lesson. I do believe that everything we go through, closed doors, therein lies lessons for the
Yes.
rest of our lives. So
Yeah.
peace is priceless. That was the lesson.
That was the lesson. And God has a plan and a purpose for all things. I don't
Mm,
have regrets. People are like, oh, I regret that. Do
right?
you? Because if you didn't
Nope.
go through what you went through, would you know what you know now? Right? I don't
Nope.
say that. Would Is it possible if I could go back and change things? I don't know. Because
Not
would it make me who I am? We can't go back. So why are we even talking about it? What did you learn? What was
nope.
the lesson learned, and how
That's
are you
right.
applying that today? Right.
That's
And
right.
so, although
Mm,
you had this emotional
mm,
distress, this toxicity, um,
mhm,
people making you feel less than, actually,
mhm.
literally, they were dimming your light.
That's exactly
Let's
what it
let's
was.
just tell it what it is, because
Uh-huh.
you were too much. No, I you
That's
are
too
who you
much.
are.
Mhm,
You are who you are. You come to work and be who you are. Why can't I come to work and be who I am? We all know how to be
mhm,
professional. We all
mhm,
know what to do, whenever we are in certain situations, or we wouldn't
mhm.
be there on the job. What did you hire me for if you didn't think
Right.
that I was professional enough to do my job? But unfortunately, and so many times, we as women of color, we have to bite our tongue. We can't speak up and say we can, or we're going to become labeled. We certainly can, but it's
Mhm,
almost like we know the game. We didn't invent the game, but we know how to play it.
mhm.
May not like it,
Exactly.
but and when you get into that state of mind and that mode and that mindset that you feel like I can't even be myself. What I'm loving about, just real quick, the job that I'm on is because you have not seen my fro yet, think. Because when I tell you the
Mhm.
fro, she comes out. Did you
I
see
think
my
I
fro
saw
yet?
her.
When I
Yes.
tell you that I can walk up in there
Beautiful.
with my fro, that's a
Mm,
beautiful feeling that I can literally come to work myself. I don't have to
wow.
Europeanize myself to be
Wow.
accepted in the
Mm,
job that I work on. And it took a minute to get there. Now, is it perfect? No, no job is. But I
right.
feel like I can be myself. So that is important. Again,
Mm.
just like Danae said, hi, Nay, just like she said,
Hi,
right?
May.
It
Mhm,
is priceless. It's no price
mhm.
point on that. So thank you for unpacking that. That's something good that we
You're
got to
welcome.
think about. So how did you
Mm,
come up with the name Wake Your
mm.
Voice? What allowed
Yeah.
you to name your business that?
So when I was going through this process of being put back together, I was inspired to write two guided journals. One was titled Find Your Voice, the other was titled Unlock Your Voice. The
Okay.
way that came about was years ago. I was in a church service at Evangel
Mm.
Fellowship, Church of God in Christ, where I met my
All right
husband
now. Okay.
under Apostle Otis Lockett, who's now in heaven. There was a
Uh-huh.
prophet who was there visiting from out of town. The church is packed.
Mm.
It's packed.
Mhm.
But he began to prophesy to people and he named them by number. So the first person he said was number one. And then he got to me, I was number five, five being the number of grace. And
Mm.
what he said is that God had given me the keys to unlock the prison doors. Okay.
Ooh,
Now, what
that's
I later learned, right, was the key was my voice.
mm, mm, mm.
And so that is what I dedicate myself to doing today, helping
Yes.
people find their voices,
Yeah.
unlocking their voices because we've been told you're too much, because we have been told to dim who we are, because we've been told that we're not good enough,
Mm.
knowing that we've had to work twice as hard
Now you're
where we
preaching.
are. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's
Mhm.
where it came from. So my husband was like, and we needed a website title, and Find Your Voice was taken. So he was like, "What about Wake Your Voice?" I said, "Okay," and it wasn't taken, so I got it.
I love everything about what it stands for, though. Wake your voice. Because we do. We all have a voice. We all should be
Yes, we
empowered
do.
to use our voice and not feel
Should
like we can't speak up and say what we need to say. Again, I do think, depending on the circumstance, that you do need to be mindful of how something comes across because we are
good
all
point.
human, right? So let's be respectful, right?
Mhm.
Which I don't know why this is coming up to me. It's in my spirit. This takes me to the elders in the church. Sorry, just gonna just say it.
Oh, come on.
Feel like they can say whatever to you,
Mhm.
but you're not supposed to say anything. And again, respect goes both ways. Like, can you just address me in a way that I can accept what you just said to me, whether it's out of love or what? Can you just kind
But
of
see,
watch
but
how you
now,
say it?
but we getting into see how you say things is a skill. So there are four different communication styles. A
Yeah.
lot of our elders were only taught to aggressively, and that's what they know. They're not aware
Mm,
of the assertive communication style.
that's good.
They're aware of the aggressive, then they're
Yeah.
also aware of the passive aggressive, right? They're
Woo!
even aware of the passive because of our history with slavery, our
Talk
history
about it.
of being, abused
Yeah,
in
that's good.
different environments. But assertive
Yeah.
communication is not a skill that has been taught to many of our
Mhm.
elders.
That's a
That
good point.
is one of the reasons why I do what I do, because
Yeah.
those are the people who taught us, and
Yes.
so that is why we dim ourselves, because we don't have the tools always to show up in spaces authentically, say what we
Mm,
need to say, and feel good about it without losing sleep over the weekend because we got to go back
yes.
to work that Monday. And we like,
Woo.
how am I going to be myself? Yeah, no. Yeah.
Mm. Now you just
Mhm.
taught me because that's good. And I
Okay.
was just having this conversation with someone a while back. It's the same thing. Like the person I was speaking about in particular. They were like, you know what? They're one generation away from slavery. That's just how
Yep.
they know to communicate. And so
That's
that
right.
helped me. And what you just said helped me because
Mhm.
it gives that compassion or that
That's right.
like,
That's
okay, I can't take this personal because that's something that I try my best to do because out of respect, I'm not going to say anything back to another. I mean, that's just
I
how I was
know.
raised. I'm just not going to do
I
it. I
know.
might be thinking like, what in the world? But I'm not going to say anything back, right? Because I was taught respect. But I do think that let's get out of the elders and just get into, since we were talking about work,
Right.
right? Your job and your coworkers, even your husband, your children,
That's
your
right.
besties, and that, right? If someone says something to you that's offensive in some way,
Right.
take for what I do personally,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to sleep on. Let me take a minute because I
Very
used to
good.
be very bad at taking things personally. Everything is
Yeah.
like, oh. But now what I do is I take the time, I take a day, let me sleep on it. Because
Mm,
one, it allows me to process and then think about it and use my
mm,
words when I address it the
mhm,
next day
mhm,
and not my emotion.
mm.
And if it's not bothering me the next day, then okay, move on. You know what I mean? But
I
it's given
do.
me that time to process what's been said. And sometimes it has been times where it takes me a few days because I'm like, okay, I really
That's
gotta
right. But there's a
process
reason
this.
behind that,
Okay.
because every negative event that we go through, it takes the body 20 minutes to an hour to metabolize that stress.
Wow.
And so, and that's each time. So
Okay.
let's say you're at work and you encounter an unpleasant situation. That's one incident that's going to take your body 20 to 60 minutes to
Mm,
process. So your
mm.
central nervous system is going to be infected for at least 20 to 60 minutes. But
Okay.
imagine when that is a compilation, when you have not had time to process the last hit you had,
Woo.
whether
Woo.
it was that day or the day before or the
Yeah.
month before.
Right.
Imagine as women of color, especially as people of color,
Yeah.
because we're survivalists. We
Yeah.
take one thing at we take the hit and we keep on
Keep on
ticking.
going. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what that does was it dysregulates our nervous system. And so
Mm.
now we're in what's called sympathetic dominance, which means that we're on high alert, we're in fight and flight all the
All the
time.
time.
But that's why it takes time,
Yeah.
sometimes days, sometimes months,
That's
sometimes
right.
years,
That's facts. That's facts. Yes.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, it makes sense. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned too, Tanya, was that it's not my fault.
No, it's just not. And to stop, for my biggest lesson over the years is stop taking things personally, because maybe they're having a
So
bad
good.
day. To your point, it's
Yeah,
just who they are. They don't mean any
yeah,
harm by it. It's just who they are. Whether it's right or
yeah.
wrong, it's just, their
That's
way.
right.
Um, okay, no, no, I like that. I like that.
Mhm.
Let's
And what you
get
just talked about was empathy, by the way. So what you
empathy.
just said was when we use empathy,
Yeah,
then we don't take things as personally. When we're taking
yeah.
things personally, it's
Hmm.
because we feel like it's an attack against us. We're
Yes,
in threat.
yes.
We're in stress
Hmm.
mode. But when we use
Hmm.
our tool of empathy, right,
Yeah,
our emotional intelligence, and say, well, what happened to that person? Like you just did, like what happened
yeah,
this morning? Or what happened in their lives? Then we realize, listen, I don't have that much power over you. So you brought that. I ain't bring that.
yeah. I
Can I
didn't bring
help
it.
you? Very
Yeah,
good.
can I
Okay.
help you today? Listen, thank you, Nay, because I was going to say when I tell
Hey, hey.
I don't know about y'all, but she's teaching me today. I already told her behind the scenes that I need some life coach. I need some coaching.
I'm
Okay, I
here.
need some coaching. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. As long as we on this earth, that's
Mm,
what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep
that's
learning and grow.
exactly.
We should be
Whew,
learning and growing every day, right? So
mm,
you are correct, Nay. She teaching
whew.
now because she was teaching us. And we might just need to have a whole little virtual. I think we talked about this, a whole
Yeah,
little virtual session in the DWAP group, and you just bring us
I
some
would
wisdom because
love
we
it.
need it. We need it.
Yes.
All
Mm,
right. So, how much work goes into the efforts that you do for
mm,
Wake Your Voice? What does that
mm.
look like for you and tell for you?
Okay, I can tell. Okay, so when I first started Wake Your Voice, what it looked like was website management, social media manager, accountant, uh, everything that was needed, president, CEO, board of directors. you
Mm,
know I did all of that when I first started
yeah,
6 years
yeah,
ago. I
yeah.
will tell you that a couple of years ago I slowed down. I
Okay,
slowed down and I got rid of the website.
okay,
um, I minimized my social media
okay,
platforms,
okay.
honestly, because I was finding myself getting back to that point of being unhappy
Mm,
doing what I do. And
mm,
I was always taught that when you're doing something you love, it doesn't feel like work.
that's
So it
true.
started to feel like work.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting over again. Now I kept my clientele up. I
Okay.
still have I didn't lose clients. So I
Good.
still have numerous executive clients and private clients all over the country, from India to
Oh wow.
California to
Oh wow.
Florida to the
Okay.
UK, right? That
Wow.
didn't change. But the way
Okay.
I did business, sometimes we
Yeah.
have to learn how to pivot to protect
Woo!
ourselves, right? I had to
Yes.
pivot.
Yes.
And so now,
Yeah.
now I get on social media when I can.
Come on with it.
Uh, Mostly what it looks like is me having 30 to 45-minute sessions with my clients
Okay.
Monday through Thursday, because I take Fridays off to replenish myself. Then church is the weekend, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay, but yeah,
Mm-hmm. What
that's
I
the
heard
way
was
you are.
balance and boundaries. That's what I heard. I heard balance and I heard boundaries. And
Mm.
that is very important for anybody to have.
Ooh,
And sometimes what I've learned about Tanya, that I have to have boundaries for me,
ooh,
because I
that gave me
just want to take
chills.
on everything, like take
Yes,
on the world. And it's like, it is okay to say no.
yes.
It is okay to refer people to someone else. Just because someone comes to me and asks me doesn't mean I have to always say yes if I don't have the bandwidth to do it. Because
Mm,
one, it's not going to come out, it's not going to be the quality of work that I want to put out anyway. Let's just be real. Because I'm going to
mm.
go into it kind of like halfway, because I don't have the energy and the
Talk,
mental
Tanya.
space to handle it.
Yes.
So, it's that balance and boundaries. Yeah, so this
Mm.
first, yeah. This is your honey
Ooh.
bun here. He said, international coach. So
Oh,
proud of
that's my
you.
boo.
Yes, it
Oh,
is
thank
your
you,
boo.
honey.
Yes. Balance and boundaries. Yes, ma'am. That's what it's
Wow.
about. And
Hmm.
so,
I might have to
okay,
use that, Tanya.
yeah, well,
Can I
use it,
use
honey.
that?
It's I didn't
Okay,
have
balance
it's
and
not
boundaries.
trademarked. It's not trademarked or copywritten,
Okay.
honey. Use it, okay?
Wow. Okay.
Because that's really what it's about, right?
Okay.
So we're not going to get through all these questions because this has been a great talk, but I do want to ask you this question before we
Okay.
go, because I think it's just a great question that I ask my guests. So, if
Okay.
you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger self?
That you're okay the way you are.
That's
You're
powerful.
okay. Mhm.
You don't have to change.
You don't have to change. You
Mm,
don't. Mm-mm.
wow.
And going back to the respecting your elders.
Yeah.
Um, when we look at the environments that a lot of us have grown up in,
Yeah.
we've learned how to adapt and
Yes.
mitigate to our circumstances.
Yes, we
And
have.
for a lot of us, our parents were raised to see children but not hear them,
Talk about it. That's facts.
right? To be seen and not
Yes. I
heard. And
heard.
so that's
Mm-hmm.
the message that is passed down from generation to generation. So the reason why I would let her know is that you're okay the way you are is because I was always inquisitive. I was always vocal. I was always curious, but those things were not celebrated.
Mm. Mm.
And as a result, I learned how to adapt to my environment, and I
Mhm.
lost my voice.
Not only did you lose your voice,
Mm,
Macea, you, again, it
mm,
goes back.
mm.
They dimmed your light. You did not
Yeah,
even know
yeah.
that whomever it was dimming your light. I had to learn that in my
Ooh,
own life.
mm.
I have always been who I am. I was just telling
Right?
this to a friend of mine, like, I don't know who else to be, right?
Mm,
And so coming up
mm,
and being raised, and I was like I don't know the word one, y'all know, I don't know what's politically correct to say anymore, but the
mhm.
prissy one, the one that wants to wear the dresses, and the one
Me
who wants
too.
to,
Okay.
that's who I was.
Yes.
I didn't think I was
Yeah.
cute. I didn't think I was pretty. I
Right.
just liked being a girl, and I liked putting
Right.
on the dresses, and I
Mm.
liked doing that thing. But to
Yes.
be told that you think you're pretty, you think
Oh.
why would you say that to somebody, right? That stuff affects you. And so what I thought I had to do was like, well, I guess I can't dress this way. I get, like I started to second guess who I was as a kid.
Absolutely.
But it took me into my adult life to understand that it was okay for me to be who I am. I don't know who else to be but
Mm, mm,
Tanya.
mm.
And I don't want to be anyone else but Tanya, right? And
Mm,
we should be okay
mm,
with that. So
mm,
Tiffany said, "That's good. You're okay. That it is okay. That is so good, and that's enough.
mm,
Like that statement there is just so powerful.
mm.
You're okay,
Wow.
and someone's gonna take that to heart, just like they're doing right
Mm,
now. Listen, I can talk to you all night, but
me too.
let me let the people know how they can get in contact with you and how they
Okay.
can connect with
Okay.
you. So this is Coach Macia's email. Feel free to
Yes.
reach out to her at wakeyourvoice@gmail.com.
Mm,
We also have her QR code. You can take your phone And let me see if I can go ahead and get your QR codes up here. So this is her business. No, this is her Facebook. So if you take your phone and scan her code, if you're not already following her, make sure that you follow this wonderful and beautiful woman of God. She just has
Oh,
some great wisdom. Like, again, I need to make these calls an hour because we can just keep on going. I didn't even get through half the questions with
listen,
y'all.
we
I
can do
know
a
y'all
part two.
part two. Come on now, cause
We
we
can.
do a part.
Okay.
You can come back. We do a part two. Like, I'm serious.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So that's her Facebook, everyone. This is her Instagram. If you scan your phone, this is going to take you to her Instagram page. I'm trying to leave it there long enough in case anybody that's not already following you can follow you so that they can connect with you. And while we're doing this, how can we, you know, support your initiatives or collaborate with you while I'm showing them your QR codes?
A lot of my business is word of mouth. So if something has resonated, or if you yourself who is listening feels like you want someone to walk alongside you, you need a
Mhm.
safe space, you need a thought partner, reach out to me,
Yeah.
or let other people know about me. It's
Yeah.
not about the volume, it's about the value, right? So I don't need you to send me thousands of people because what I've learned is that everyone who comes to me, it's an intentional connection. So just send me who you think needs to be connected. That's
Intentional.
all.
That's good. Intentional. And
Yeah.
I have a tagline. If
Oh.
I've touched one person, I've done my job. It's
Mm,
exactly what you just said. It
mm,
doesn't need to. If I had one follower, as long as that
wow.
follower is like, hey, she gives me some inspiration every day, that's what matters to me. You
Girl, you're
know,
powerful.
we already. Oh,
Ooh,
that's
you
huge
are.
coming from you.
You are powerful.
There's so much
Mm,
going on in this world of social media where people feel like they got to front
mm,
and do all these things to get these likes or these followers or
mm.
be someone that they're not
Mm.
behind that phone, behind that computer screen. No, you're going to get Tanya authentically
That's right.
um, in front of or behind the scenes. It's just who I
Mm.
am. And so I learned long ago. I think it was my fourth event that I annual event that I do. I had to. I wasn't obedient that year, running all over the place. I wasn't still and listening to
Come
what
on.
God wanted me to
Mm,
do.
mm-hmm.
And it was like, if I can't trust you with 10 people, how can I trust you with 10,000?
Mm, mm,
So I'm going to need you to figure it out. This is not about you. This is all
mm.
meant for his glory. And I had to learn that um, kind of the hard way, that fourth event, which is why I started that collaboration over competition talk. I shared that with you. Um, and so that was her LinkedIn that was up there, everyone. This is her business card, which she gonna show me how to get this. But I love this business card. As soon as I saw it, I said, "All right, then business card." As soon as I
So we
clicked,
are going to talk about DWAP, right? Like we are going to talk about your
we
event.
are gonna talk about
Okay.
DWAP.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
was like, I need this business card. I just need everybody to know that I need this business card. But because I love it, the picture and everything. You're just, I don't know. It's
Mm.
just something about you that's magnetic. And what I've learned is that you don't have to have this big, huge, powerful voice, as long as you have the
Talk,
voice
Tanya.
that people can relate to. You know,
Yes. Wake
I
your
was just
voice. Wake
watching.
your
Wake
voice.
your voice. Your voice. I'm not supposed to be someone else that's hooping and hollering behind. It's not who I am.
Mm,
I'm soft spoken. Always have been. It's not going to
mm,
change. It's just who I am.
wow.
Um, she was talking about DWAP. So, seventh annual Design with a Purpose event. That's what DWAP stands for, Designed with a Purpose. We have our seventh annual event coming up
Mm,
October 18th and 19th. So excited. This is the first year where it's a 2-day conference. Friday night is going to be the awards gala, where we will be celebrating all of our DWAP Award nominees and honoring those winners. And then Saturday will be the conference where we will be unpacking and shifting to greater. We have some
mm.
phenomenal speakers lined up. This is going to be powerful, and I'm so excited about it. And then this is our DWAP Awards. Nominate, and nominate those women and young ladies in the community who you know are making positive impact. It's very important that we recognize ourselves in the community. We have sheroes and celebrities, local celebrities in our own backyards. We just do that don't get the recognition necessarily that they should. And so that's what DWAP is about, the DWAP Awards. August 31st is the last day to nominate and accept nominations. You will have to attend the event to be eligible for an award, but you do not have to attend to be eligible to be celebrated, if that makes sense. So,
Can we nominate you? Or
no, I love it. I love it. I had to think about that. It's my own award. And so I was like,
okay.
I don't really want, but I
Maybe-
appreciate,
Okay.
I
Conflict
appreciate
of
how
interest.
you can
Okay.
nominate me for other stuff. I'm just kidding,
Okay.
but not the
Okay.
DWAP, not the DWAP
Wow.
awards. Let me see what we had a few more comments come in. I think it was from Nay. She was like, she is a powerhouse. Yes, she is. And I'm just so grateful that Dennis Kelly told us that's
Thank
my
you,
dad
Dennis Kelly. Thank you,
connected
Dennis
us because
Kelly.
it's such a beautiful thing, and I'm just so grateful um,
Me
to
too.
her, for being here. Thank you all for hanging on with us like a few more minutes
Thank you.
after. I do want to ask that you would take the time to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's still growing. I might, we just talked about followers. I might have them everywhere else, but YouTube. So, subscribe to that YouTube channel, tell your friends, because we will monthly speak with a woman in the community who is making that positive impact. And it's all about talking positivity. That's how I choose to use my platform. I don't do the
Mm,
negativity stuff. Don't do it, never have. And it's like, and if I did, shame on me, right? Because
mm.
when you know better, you do better.
That's
But
right.
I like to spread positivity. That's what I do. And if someone doesn't like it, as I said before, just keep scrolling. It is what it
Right.
is, right? That's the choice that we have on social media. But I choose to
Democracy.
speak on it. It's a powerful thing.
It's a beauty.
It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I just want to thank my guest, my
Thank
special
you.
guest, Macea Whisettse, for being with me today. I'm so
Thank
excited. She
you.
will come back, y'all. Like
Yeah.
I just want to keep talking to her. I really do. Like, I don't want the conversation to end. I'm not saying that. Like, I really mean it. Like, I want to keep
Mhm.
talking to you. We talked before. I think it's been 30
Yes.
minutes. I think we was on the phone like
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
So we probably just need to have some monthly meetings because
We
but let
do.
me go ahead and sign up for your coaching because I told you I
Okay.
need it. And I do.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I'm being serious. I need it. Um, but thank you. And is there anything that you want to say before we end this call today?
Be yourself and wake your voice.
Be
Everyone who's listening. That's how you're okay.
you're
You're okay.
okay. You're okay, just like you are.
That's
And
right.
another thing, you might like this one that I
Mm,
say.
mhm.
Um, when you compare yourself to someone else, your uniqueness is slowly diminishing every
Wow.
time because you're too busy trying to be like this other person or comparing yourself. You're not
Mm.
supposed to be that person. Just
And it's
like you
not
said,
attractive.
you're okay as who you are. God, to me, it is an
Yeah.
insult to God's marvelous work.
I
He
agree.
created you who you
I
are,
agree. That's right.
and so I
That's right.
love that you're okay. It's simple yet so profound.
Mm.
You're okay and
You're
powerful.
okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
I might
Part
start
two.
using that. Did you copyright it or trademark it? I might
Mm-mm, I
I
didn't.
might start
Okay,
telling
so
people you're
I'll
okay.
do balance and boundaries, and you can do your okay. Okay.
I love it. I love it. Stay with me for a few minutes if you can
Okay.
before we get
All
off.
right.
Thank you, everybody who showed up to this Let's Talk Positivity series with special guest coach Macea Whisettse. I did it right this time, like because I've been doing her name wrong.
Yay.
Macea
No,
Whisettse,
you haven't.
and I'm going to share this on my Facebook page as well. It'll be here on my YouTube channel. Macea, you'll be able to share it on your channels as
Okay.
well. And let's just encourage people to watch this and click hashtag hit the replay button and type hashtag replay in the comments. And we will see you next month.